What's up guys, Excalibur here and welcome back to Star Ocean Anamnesis. So today, as promised, I'm gonna be doing the Fayt character guide. Fayt is a buffer who increases his party's physical and elemental damage. He's also the second attacker in the game to imbue his own attacks with an element. His first talent, Star Athlete, increases the entire party's attack stat by 30%, which is unfortunately kind of on the low end, but it's still a very nice talent to have. His second talent, Speak Softly and Carry a Big Stick, imbues his own attacks with fire and light elements. This is a very nice talent to have because it increases his own damage against enemies weak to fire or light, and it also means he doesn't have to use an elemental weapon, freeing up a slot for a weapon that maybe increases his elemental damage. His third talent, Feigning Tactics, increases the entire party's elemental damage by 15%. Right now, Fayt is the only attacker in the game who can increase the entire party's elemental damage pre-rush, so it's very nice. And his last talent, Stubborn to a Fault, no flinching when taking damage of 10% or less for himself and long-range weapon allies. Anti-flinch is always good to have. That's all I have to say about that. So now, on to his battle skills. His first skill, Gliding Sidekick, deftly sidestep then unleash a roundhouse kick. Its power is determined by multiplying attack by 180%. It does 3 hits and it costs 19 AP. This is an attack that you'll be using as an opening in your combos because it comes out really quickly and it barely costs any AP. His second skill, Rising Blade, unleash 5 quick strikes. Its power is determined by multiplying attack by 410%. It does 5 hits and it costs 32 AP. So on paper, this is his hardest hitting attack. The problem is that the animation takes super long and the entire animation needs to complete before you get the full amount of damage, leaving you wide open to attack. His third skill, Shotgun Blast, manifest orbs of lightning in front of you that burst. Its power is determined by multiplying attack by 119%. It does 4 hits, has a lightning element, and it costs 20 AP. This attack comes out really quickly. Unfortunately, it kind of has a really wide spread, so you'll only be using this against really big enemies or just groups of enemies. And his last skill, Avian Air Raid, hit your foe into the air and send them plummeting with a shockwave. Its power is determined by multiplying attack by 400%. It does 5 hits, has a light element, and it costs 30 AP. This is the attack that you'll usually be using as a combo finisher because it comes out really quickly and it does a ton of damage. And it's just overall really good. And his rush, Colossal Ethereal Blast, unleash a massive beam of energy that scorches the earth. Its power is determined by multiplying attack by 3500% and it has a light element to it. Post rush, it increases the entire party's elemental damage by 50% for 20 seconds. Overall, it's a very decent rush. Damage wise, I'd say it does a little more than average, so definitely not a rush finisher, but somewhere in the middle would be nice. And the post-rush buff, elemental damage increase by 50% is also really nice. It overrides one of his existing talents, but what can you do? It's very decent. For weapons, I recommend the Type Furrow Sword, which increases your elemental damage dealt by 20%, and it gives you a nice HP vamp, and when it's max limit broken, it also increases your crit damage. So this works very well with Fayt. Unfortunately, it's no longer obtainable from the gacha. It was a limited weapon during the Nier event. So if you're looking for a coin shop weapon, I recommend the Cursed Balmung Blade. It unfortunately does not increase his elemental damage, but it does increase his normal damage, so it's a decent alternative. Now for his battle skills, first up, I recommend running Shotgun Blast. Very good for dealing with multiple enemies. It comes out really quickly and allows you to build the cancel bonus. Also has the lightning element. Secondly, I recommend Avian Air Raid because of its really strong finishing capabilities. And then lastly, you can run either Gliding Sidekick or I've seen some people run Rising Blade. Personally, I recommend Gliding Sidekick because like I said, it comes out really quickly, it's a good opener, and it can lead into a lot more of your attacks. But you could also run Rising Blade if you want a more damaging setup, I guess. So your combo would look something like this. A normal attack, into the gliding sidekick, into shotgun blast, into as many avian air raids as you can fit, which is usually 2, but you know, if you're running a Summer Sophia, then maybe you can do more. This combo comes out really quickly, it does a lot of damage, and it allows you to be ready for anything the enemy will throw at you. So personally, I recommend using this combo. But if you're running the previous setup with the Rising Blade, you could also do this combo, a normal attack into Shotgun Blast, into the Avian Air Raid, into the Rising Blade. Unfortunately, because of Rising Blade, this combo takes a little longer to execute, which means most of the time you won't even get the max amount of damage out of it. So, like I said, I recommend going with the other combo, but if for whatever reason you want to run Rising Blade, then here you go. So, in summary, Fayt works best in physical parties because of his attack buff and talent. That's not to say he doesn't work in invoker parties, because he does have the elemental damage buff, but that also applies to physical characters, so there's that. And he himself imbues his own attacks with 2 elements, and he also has a light element on one of his attacks, which means most of the time you won't even need to have a specific elemental weapon to deal with whatever enemy you're facing, which frees up a slot for another weapon that makes you stronger. So overall, Fayt is a very decent attack buffer. Unfortunately, he came out at a bad time after 2B, of course, and she kind of leaves him completely in the dust. That's not to say that Fayt is not good, but with all the 2Bs running around, he just gets overshadowed. Alright, that does it for my Fayt character guide. My voice is starting to leave my body, so I have to finish this quickly. Let me know who you want to see in the next video. I'm probably going to do one of the Halloween characters, because I really want to do those. Them or 2B, we'll see about that. But hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!